Welcome back to BonaFil Insider. If you've been following BonaFil this week, you've probably noticed that we covered quite a few different topics. Today, we're bringing all of those topics together in one conversation. Because although these subjects may seem different, they're actually connected by one important idea: what makes a yarn reliable for manufacturers? And to explore that, I'm joined by Ayşe, Meryem, Dilara, and Ayçin. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Afaf. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm excited to talk about everything we covered this week.
It's actually interesting when you put all the topics together, because they connect much more than you might think.
Exactly. And I think that's what we're going to discover today.
So let's start at the beginning. Our first video this week was our BonaFil introduction, where we presented who we are, what we produce, and what we stand for. Ayşe, when we call BonaFil the yarn pioneer, what does that actually mean?
For me, being a pioneer isn't simply about producing yarn. It's about looking at what manufacturers need and continuously developing solutions around those needs. Different manufacturers have different products, machines, and production requirements. So our role is not just to offer yarn. It's to offer the right yarn solution for the application.
Exactly, and I think that brings us naturally to one of the products that has become particularly important for BonaFil. Because when we talk about the yarn manufacturers know us for, one count comes up again and again: NE20/1. Meryem, let's talk about it. Why is NE20/1 our bestseller?
There isn't just one reason. NE20/1 is a very practical and versatile count, particularly for applications like socks. But manufacturers don't choose a yarn simply because of the number written on the label. They look at how it behaves during production. They want consistency, smooth running, and a yarn that can deliver the expected result.
So the 20/1 tells us the count, but it doesn't tell us the whole story.
Exactly. The important question is what that count means in real production, and that's why NE20/1 has become such an important product for us.
And that's actually a perfect transition, because if we move beyond the count, the next question becomes, what is the yarn actually made of? And that's where composition comes into the picture. Dilara, this week we talked about something that sounds very simple: 50/50. But our message was very clear. 50/50 is not just a number. What do we mean by that?
We mean that those two numbers represent a real balance between two fibers, and that balance influences the characteristics of the yarn and, eventually, the final product. So when a manufacturer sees 50/50, they shouldn't think only about percentages. They should think about what that composition means for their specific application.
So the right composition depends on the product.
Exactly. There isn't one composition that's automatically perfect for every product. You have to look at what you're producing and what you need from the yarn.
And that brings us very naturally to another composition we've discussed this week. If 50/50 shows us how important the balance between fibers can be, then 70/30 gives us another very interesting balance. Ayşe, let's talk about 70/30. We've described it as the safest option for all products. What makes it such a practical choice?
The 70% cotton, 30% polyester composition offers a very useful balance. It's versatile and can be used across different textile applications. That's why it's an attractive option for products such as socks, towels, and other textile applications.
But when we say safest, we're not saying it's automatically the best yarn for every single product.
Exactly. We're saying that it's a strong, practical starting point when a manufacturer needs versatility. The final choice should always depend on the product, the production process, and the performance requirements.